Sawadee-ka. Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Now I've used curry paste in several of my recipes and many of you hardcore cooks have requested a recipe for how to make curry paste from scratch. So finally today it is the opportune time for that recipe. Today I'm makingกแกงเผ translated in English as red curry paste. And I'm choosing to do that one because it's actually the most basic and the most versatile one. All the other curries such as masaman or panang or even green yellow curry all kind of build upon this one as a base. So if you know this one, you're already halfway there with all the other curries. There are 10 curry paste ingredients that are the basic 10. So let's start. First we have the chilies. Now chilies, we're using red dry chilies and they're larger chilies. And we first need to rehydrate them, but before you rehydrate them, you want to take out all the seeds. And you do that by just cutting it horizontally, opening it up. Oh, this one doesn't have too many seeds. And pull out the pith and the seeds from the inside. Make sure everything's gone. So the reason why we're removing the seeds and the pith is because this is our source of red color. So you want to maximize the amount of chilies we can fit in without it being too spicy. So the pith and the seeds are really spicy, so by removing them we can fit in more red color. And also the pith and the seeds are not red, so it will dilute the color of our red curry paste. We'll soak that for several hours until they swell up and become fully rehydrated, just like that. I actually did this last night. And then what you do, so we're using 7 to 15, however much you want, depending on how spicy you want it. And then you want to drain it all off. And then you want to get out as much of the excess liquid as possible. Otherwise, because if it's wet, when you go to pound it, it will actually splash in your face. And it's not fun when that happens. I've had that happen to me when I was little, walking by somebody who was making curry paste. And you can actually smell the spiciness. Okay, we'll put that in our instrument. So that's our ingredient number 1. Okay, ingredient number 2. Let's see, we've got a heaping 1/4 cup of shallots. Now in Thailand we use a different variety of shallots. They're much smaller, about the size of a marble, and they're a little more pungent. But we make do with whatever we have here. So heaping 1/4 cup, 3 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Again, in Thailand we use what we call Thai garlic, which are tiny, about the size of the size of my pinky tip here. Next, we've got 3 tablespoons of chopped lemongrass. I actually chopped this straight from frozen. Try to use the purple part because that's the more fragrant part. And then we've got a tablespoon of chopped galangal. I also chopped this straight from frozen. And I've got a teaspoon of cilantro root. Now cilantro root is pretty much the root of the cilantro plant. It looks like this. It's a shame that in North America they use cilantro so much, but no one uses cilantro roots. I actually have to go to specialty Thai store to get these. If you can't find them, you can use cilantro stems instead. Now this smells just like cilantro, but it's so much more fragrant, and the smell is stronger, and the smell lasts longer in cooking as well. So we've got that. And then we've got kaffir lime zest. Now I've used kaffir lime leaves in many of my recipes. This is what the fruit looks like here. And you just take a knife and take out the green bit of the skin. Try not to get too much of the white part. And then chop it up. This is actually really good for your hair. I'm actually using a kaffir lime shampoo. Like that. So there is juice in there, but there's not a whole lot of juice. So that's why we don't really use the juice for cooking very much. Peppercorns, white peppercorns, about 1/4 teaspoon. Shrimp paste, about a teaspoon of shrimp paste. Now, this is in every single curry, and one would say that it's quite smelly or pungent, but Thai people think it actually smells good. Comes in a tub just like this, and it's a little bit of a misnomer because it's not made from shrimp. It's actually made from krills. So they grind up the krills with salt and then ferment it for months and months and months, and then it becomes this wonderful paste, and it's quite salty, so it's actually a salting agent for this. And then lastly, a teaspoon of coarse sea salt. I'm using sea salt because sea salt tastes better, tastes like the ocean, and coarse because the coarse grain helps add abrasiveness to the grinding. So the instrument we're using today, as you can see, is a stone mortar and pestle. Now I want to stress the fact that the stone one is the heavy duty one. This clay and wood one is a light duty one that won't work as well for this because there's so much to grind up and you really want it fine. This will work. This is for papaya salad or for crushing, grinding light things like garlic and peanuts and things like that, but it won't work quite as well for this recipe. You can do this in a food processor if you want, and it'll speed everything up, but I think if you have time, there's something wonderful about manually doing it and putting your effort and energy and time into it and gradually witness the transformation, because when you do that, you know, you can take more pride and you just tend to enjoy it that much more when you've put effort and time into it. The order in which things go in actually matter, in a sense that it'll make it harder or easier for your grinding process. The chilies, you want to start with the things that's hardest to grind, and the easiest things to grind will go in last. The chilies is actually the hardest because the skin is very stubborn, so we're going to add our salt, which will be sort of the friction that help break down the chili. Now, when you're doing the chili, don't look at it and cover it up with your hand a little bit so that if something does jump out, it doesn't jump out in your face. Look at it every once in a while, just to see how it's going. You can take a look, it's all mushed now. So the next thing to go in is any dry spices. So for this recipe, we've got the white peppercorns. Some recipes, like for Penang curry or Massaman curry, will call for cumin and coriander. This is where you will add that as well. And then we're going to go in with the fibrous tough herbs. So we've got the kaffir lime zest and cilantro roots will go in first. You want to do this a little bit at a time. If you put in all of this at once, it'll take that much longer. It'll be harder to get everything to grind. Okay, and then next we're going in with the lemongrass and galangal. Okay, now we get to this point, we're gonna go in with our soft herbs, the shallots and the garlic. Just gonna do it one at a time. Okay, and garlic. And then we're also gonna add our final ingredient, shrimp paste, in with the garlic. And it looks like we're done. So, let me show you what this looks like. Now, you can store this about a week or so in the fridge, but to really preserve, if you're not going to use it in the near future, you can actually freeze it. So, there's our red curry paste. And now you can use this in any recipes that call for red curry paste. I've got a couple of recipes. The peanut sauce for satay peanut sauce uses it, and also Pat Prick King also uses red curry paste. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.